Welcome to Venator Chronicles Podcast, a revolutionary podcast
Not really.
by two dudes learning how to hunt. I'm Ethan Taylor.
And I'm Dustin Jelly. Here, we take hunting serious, and ourselves, not so much.
So sit back, enjoy the laughs and lessons.
All right, gentlemen, round number 3. Like I said, Dusty, he may be on his deathbed. We're not sure at this point. Like I said in the last episode, we definitely aren't doing these all in the same night. That's for sure. Ben, Isaiah, and Derek, thank you for filling in for the one, the only Dusty. We're going to continue our conversation. Everything's been deer drives, tactics, and tonight talking a little bit about what we are running for our platforms as far as killing the deer. Not harvesting, not dispatching, killing. Correct?
Yes.
Everybody on the same page with me on that?
Cold-blooded
Yes.
Sicario moments.
Yeah.
Am I right, Derek?
In the words of,
Yes.
I forget if it was Nathan Crick or not, but we had him on the podcast, and I remember Dusty asking, he goes, is it harvest or is it killing? Because it was a big hot topic. a few
Aaron
years ago.
Schneider?
No, not Aaron Schneider. It was one of the Cricks, and we're like, is it harvesting or killing? He's like, well, you harvest soybeans. I was like, yes. All right, enough picking on Dusty. Love you, Dusty. Sorry I can't be here tonight. And those other couple nights. Wink.
So diving in. So everybody knows, or I would think everybody knows, like the old tried and true. Like when you think of deer hunting, you think, I think 30-06. I think 30-30 lever action. I think 12 gauge for the pushes, like when you're in the thick crap. What guns come to mind when you think of like coming up deer drives?
Bolt guns, 308s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly
definitely.
what you just mentioned
Yeah,
is
30,
everything
30,
I used.
Yeah,
Yes.
30, and 12 gauge.
It's almost
is
like we were in the
definitely-
same
It's
family.
almost
Weird.
like-
It's almost like we use the same guns growing up.
Pretty sure you borrowed mine.
I remember the first time I shot Dad's 30-30. I was laying on the ground. I must have been like 10. And holy crap, the thing kicked. Anyways, I actually killed my first deer with a 30-30. Fun fact, Ben and I both killed our deer our first deer almost simultaneously. Is that correct?
But mine was with the 12 gauge.
Yeah.
I heard you shoot
And you shot yours in the back of the head, if I remember correctly,
with a slug.
with a slug.
I started off shooting him in the head, and I'm gonna end shooting him.
and I had a 30-30 with a 10 power scope on it. And I climbed, I kid you not, I must have been 11, maybe 12. And I climbed probably 40, 50 feet up in a birch tree. Like no ropes, literally like, we climb trees. Like, that's how you get elevation. I remember climbing it, having like no rest. I was just kind of like bracing up against a branch, and it's windy.
Oh, so windy
And
that night.
this big old doe
day.
walks out, and
Thanks for catching that, Zaya.
and I remember this doe walking out, and I shoot, and the doe drops, and she starts kicking like crazy, and I work the lever action, and I'm like, boom, because my fear is that like, oh, she's gonna get up and run away. This is probably my first year like actually rifle hunting. And I shoot probably 4 or 5 more times, and she doesn't get up, and I'm like, sick. I definitely laid her to rest. We get over there. The one and only shot that was in her was the first shot. All the other ones completely missed. It was just me like, doof, 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 trying to put her to rest, even though she already was.
Did you have a sling on that when you climbed up?
That little leather one.
Yeah, the leather
Yeah,
one with the
'cause-
little hooks.
Because Luke set me up in a white pine, and I got a 12 gauge with no sling, and I got to climb this thing with a freaking 12 gauge.
Dude.
And like 40 feet up, and I'm like, this will be fun.
Yeah,
He's like, all right, you're going to be able to shoot out to 400 yards with your 12 gauge. Good luck. Also, you're using buckshot. Okay, so how times have changed. So like I was saying, like I would say like the industry standard is like the guns we've mentioned. And then more recently, people have started to get into the AR platform, whether that's 308, whether that's 5.56 or 6.5 Creedmoor. But it seems like every time someone says something about it, there's like 1,000 people that are ready to die on the hill of that's not an ethical gun to use. What say you?
Well, Dusty, a
No,
recurve bow,
Yeah, Dusty.
You can't.
a long bow.
I will,
Forgive me.
I can chirp Dusty. I will not allow this.
Shooting, stinking.
So if we can kill deer with the bow, I think I can take them with a 2.23 5.56. I'm just throwing it out there.
yeah, I mean, just
Not
look.
gonna.
go-
Sorry.
no,
I'm
you
just
go.
say, not gonna say that we've ever killed them with less, right? It's a 5.56. It's going pretty quick. You're gonna do some damage.
So I think when we look at like the platforms we're running, it's so funny. Like we literally get out a car. Like when we get out of the car, I mean, we look battle ready. I mean, it's like we're LARPing army men. And I'm just gonna put it as it is, guys. It looks like we're LARPing army men.
Well, Isaiah's not.
Isaiah's not. Yeah, he's a veteran. So
But why change what works?
Exactly.
you're like, if this is most efficient for humans, this is most efficient for deer.
So
I'd be carrying more mags.
Isaiah leaves the grenades at home. Don't worry, everyone.
Yeah, but legit, like we get out of cars and like it's. If I paid attention to people looking at us, it would probably, like you get the old timers they're all waddling out of their trucks, and you're just like, and we hop out and we're like basically kitted without plates. I mean, to be fair,
Maybe sometimes there should
Maybe
be
some.
plates.
Yeah, I was gonna say have thought about it.
that's a callback. That's a callback. Yeah. So I mean, we talked a little bit about when we were talking about one of the deer commandments, with the neck and head shot, and how like trying to have maximum efficacy. Nailed it. Yes. And so, what are we running? Why are we running it? Who wants to start?
I will.
All right, Isaiah's gonna start.
The biggest reason why I'm using what I'm using is because I don't know anything about it, and I'm just copying these two guys over here.
I'm glad I didn't ask what is it then.
Literally, I don't know the names of stuff. I can operate it fine, but I literally just copied exactly what Derek did with his gun because I like picked it up and I'm like, holy crap! It's so light. I just picked it up and it's got a throw lever on the scope and it's red dot bright. I don't know the names of it. I ordered some wrong things for it, trying to copy him, and doubled my order on a couple things. But it's almost ready, and so I'm literally, these guys are buying all these different things that they know to be good, and they tell me what to buy, and I buy it, and I haven't had any regrets except for the things I bought without talking to them.
Yeah. So, me being more of a novice probably than you two, I'll get into a little bit of the AR I was running because I think there's some flaws in it for sure.
Big flaws.
All right, dude. Unreal. Good night. So originally when I bought my AR, I bought a Naked Colt. I think it was LE 6920. Just completely stripped because I didn't want any furniture. I was like, I'm gonna be changing all of it anyway. So what's the point of buying it like already furniture? So I bought it, and I was kind of like, okay, buy once, cry once, and the problem with that was I didn't take the time to run the platform to see what I wanted out of it. And so there's some things that turned out really great that I would never change, and then I was like, glad I did that.
And there's some things that I was like, this actually kind of sucks for actual like application, how I use it.
Like it weighs 50 pounds.
That's part of it. So So yeah, I think first thing to me, I mean, everybody knows the optics thing where it's like, oh, you should spend as much on the optics as you do the gun, essentially. Like that's
Or more.
yeah, or more. Yeah, and that's kind of like the gold standard. Obviously, everyone's not going to do that. Not everyone has to do that, but that's I would say the ideal, right? Is to do something like that. But I think the biggest upgrade for me, like bar none, and I've done to every single gun I've owned since, is bought an aftermarket trigger for any gun I've had. Like once you, so I did, I think it was a SD3 3-gun trigger from Geisley, and it's like a 2.5 pound trigger, and it literally changed the game on my shooting. Like, just you put it on the target, and you have like almost zero influence on where you're gonna hit with the trigger that light.
Isaiah, how do you feel about that with like a new shooter, someone getting a light trigger?
So definitely wouldn't recommend off the bat. I would say everyone new shooter should start off typically with a standard
Unless it's a
standard
Glock.
pounded trigger.
Unless it's a Glock. Those, they suck. So I only say that because my buddy just bought a,
Yeah.
like he has a Glock. That's what he started
Yeah.
with. And I was like, this is awful.
And I'm not saying it because the trigger's, if the Glock trigger's bad, then yeah, upgrade it. But I'm saying that because what's the reason your buddy bought it? It's not for deer hunting, right? And if you put a lighter trigger in a defensive gun that you're, intending for the purposes of self-defense, when your blood's pumping, your adrenaline's pumping, your finger goes in that trigger guard, that gun is probably going off because you're not used to.
Well,
It's
you
a
lose-
lighter trigger.
Yeah. So like I had met a guy who he told me a story about he was in his car with his girlfriend, and he had just, I think it was a Glock. It was a standard trigger. It was either that or a revolver. This is probably 7 or 8 years ago. I remember the story, but either way, the point stands. Some guy hopped in their back seat, and so right away, like his adrenaline's pumping. Right, he pulls his gun because this guy's trying to rob them, and he's pointing at this guy like, tell him to get the F out of the car.
No.
And it wasn't until after the guy got out of the car that he realized that he had taken up like half the slack of the trigger. Because when you have an adrenaline pump, the dexterity, like the feeling in your fingers and all that
fingers
crap,
can go,
it'll go, right? And so I do agree with that, where it's like, if that's the intent of your gun, then you need to probably at least start out with something that is going to give you a little more forgiveness, for lack of a better term, probably. Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, so trigger to me was the most pivotal, nicest change that I've ever made on any gun at this point. And the buy once, cry once definitely paid off on that front. The optics.
Geisley trigger?
Yeah, SD3. It's like a 3-gun trigger, so it's just super. It was literally like, I think it was 3.5 to 2.5 pounds. There's a couple little springs you could swap out. Anyway, and then I bought a Vortex Optics Viper 4x16. That I would have changed. I would have gone with. What are you running right now?
I run an LPVO.
Yeah, so I probably would have went with something like that because applicable. That would have made way more sense. I had a canted red dot on that as well, which worked okay. Like it worked well for deer drives and stuff. It helped alleviate some of the mistake of getting that scope in the beginning. But that was definitely something that could have been alleviated just by getting an LPVO.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how far out do you want your magnification? That's something.
8 times probably max.
Because so you can get like LPVOs up to 10, but now the optic I run, it's a primary arms, and primary arms is coming out with a 2 to 12.
That's crazy.
And so they have
That's sick.
They have like, mine's a 1 to 6, they have a 1 to 8, a 1 to 10, but now they're coming out with a 2 to 12 with the same reticle that I run in mine. So I'd be interested to see how that thing looks on a longer distance gun. I mean, granted, it's
Yeah.
only 2 to 12,
Yep.
but I'd
Is
be
yours
interested.
first or second vocal point?
Second.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So that'd be one I changed. The biggest mess up I would say was the getting a quad rail.
the thought with that was just like, oh, I can put a ton of stuff on it if I need to, whatever. And it just is heavy. I mean, it's free float, like everything's free floating. It's top of the line quad rail, but it's heavy. I have small hands. Doesn't work well with my hands. And so that was a huge bummer. Suppressor wouldn't change. And there's a bunch of other little things here and there that I've taken on, put on. Yeah.
Bipod.
No.
Just throw a
Where do we
grip
get to
on the
use a
side.
bipod around here?
I would
It's like
Throw
my
a grip on the
question.
side, and then you can tip shoot.
Well, if I remember correctly, you bought that gun quite a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so when that was around, quad rail was the main thing on every gun.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like-
M-Lock started to come out, but it wasn't super popular yet.
Yeah, yeah. There was definitely and like the stuff, and as it was coming out, the flaws were very evident, and people were kind of tearing it apart. And so, like, the quad rail was the tried and true at that time. But then I start grabbing people's freaking SBRs, and I'm just like, what am I doing? This is so stupid. Like, what's the point? Because I know I'm shooting like 200 and under, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't need to be this heavy. It doesn't need to be this cumbersome. Like, all of this could be changed for the better.
All those edges just literally.
Oh,
when you're
I know,
tracking,
it's just-
catch on like sticks and like grab it like a sod and like you're trying to sod
Yeah,
on a
and
tree.
and then I tried to alleviate that. I had some panels and even like individual quad rail like plastic fillers, but then you're adding more weight at the end of it.
and
when,
it's
when
for
there's
your small
30,
hands,
when there's
it's harder to grab too.
when there's yeah,
small
it makes
hands.
it makes it rounded.
Makes 'em look
but it's
even
like when there's 30 plastic pieces per, there's 4 different parts of the quad rail, hence quad. And then like you're adding significant, like in my mind, significant weight at that point. And then I mean, went through some different slings. I did single point, double point, or
2 point.
2 point. Thank you. 2 point slings.
What was your thinking with a 1 point sling? Like you'd like to get hit in the nuts, or like
Yeah, to be
Just swing quite a bit.
that was
No,
it?
I think-
that was it.
yeah, just masochist. No,
He was thinking MP5 heat running down the road.
no, I was literally watching too many tactical videos is the problem, I think,
Okay.
is what it came down to, where it's like, oh, transition, this is ready to go, blah, blah, blah. And then, again, get back to practical, it's like, primarily going to be using this for deer hunting. I don't like sitting. What am I doing with a gun that's, I would say, built more for quote unquote long range, but it's not really the caliber to be shooting long range. So what am I doing here, right? And so there is a lot of things that I learned from that. And so now when I talk to people who are getting into shooting, it's like buy cheap, get into it, figure out what you like, and then build something that you're happy with, like from that point. Because I just went all in on the front end and I made a lot of mistakes with it. So with all that said, what are you gentlemen running? As they look at each other, who goes first?
So I'm running.
You're like, how much time you got?
Yeah.
Which thing? do you
I've done
wanna
a lot of trial and error. I'm just gonna go back to where we started a little bit and say shooting the shotguns and 30-30s and stuff like that weren't my own guns. I had malfunctions that cost me dear because it wasn't the right size shell, like for a shotgun. The biggest buck.
3.5.
It was a 3-inch
Cool.
slug, and it was in a 2 3/4 shotgun.
Yeah.
And that cost me the biggest buck I've ever, second biggest buck I've ever seen.
Wait,
and that
what?
was,
I don't know the story.
yeah, this was out on that last triangle push out towards the place that starts
How
with an
long
S.
ago?
This was before the military.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was back then, and from then on, I was like, if I'm gonna use a gun, it's gonna be my own, and I'm gonna know how it functions. And so I bought something stupid, the Tavor, the
but
bullpup,
not practical.
not practical, but I
Tactical,
really
though.
liked it because I grew up playing Modern Warfare 2, right, Ethan?
I love
Let's
Tavor.
go.
The TAR 21.
The TAR 21. So I bought it because I was a fan of that
and
gun.
no one else had it.
And no one else had it, and it was super cool. But then I went in the military, and I got super used to a more AR platform and not a bullpup, right? And so I got super used to that, and I was like, why change it up? I like this, so I sold the DeVore, built a long range AR, long range wink, and built that out, and hardly use it. Sometimes I'll go shoot long distance with it. For Bill, it's more of like a coyote gun, like a field hunting. You're sitting on a hay bale coyote gun, right? But then after that, I was like, well, cutting down weight, which is why I run an AR a lot. Like I would love an AR-10, like a 308 for deer hunting. I think that'd be a great addition for anything. I think it would be great. But we have people like Dave T who's going to be running stuff like that.
Exactly.
And so for me, running a shorter AR like an 11.5 with an EOTech and magnifier on it, I can cover those shorter distances, and I'm pretty quick with it.
Oh, you don't mean AR.
so humble.
You mean pistol. AR pistol.
Well,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's an AR pistol. Yeah.
And you never shoulder it. You always have it on your wrist.
No,
strapped.
that law's changed.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
See, I don't know anything. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys check your own regulations.
Oh, I do.
federal
I
stuff.
For your
I keep
state.
up on it.
Disclaimer.
It's been back
It's
and
federal.
forth, but it's fine. Yeah.
Anyways,
It's good right
I
now,
digress.
so I'll accept that until later on, But yeah, when I start running the EOTech and magnifier, I just found that if I keep the magnifier down, if I see something a little bit further away, I can pop it up and take a further shot.
yeah, you usually have time.
I have if
yep.
it's that kind of an opening, I have time to pop it up and take the shot. An LPVO is great, but for me, having to twist it up takes a little bit more time than what I'm using now. And you guys usually run longer barrels than I do, right? You're not running an 11.5. Typically, you're running a 13.9 or a 14.5 or something like that. And so you get a little more velocity. You can shoot a little bit further distance, a little more accurately. But for me, doing the was it PPK? Shooting those short distances.
Pitch point killer.
Yeah, I don't need anything that shoots out that far. And if I do, I bring I have an 18-inch AR that I use for kayaks.
But I've also seen you hit like 400-yard shots with your 11.5.
Yeah, but
so it's like
we'll get into that. It's just getting into the details like you guys do with the bow on the podcast is like really knowing your equipment and testing it. Like I will go every 10 yards when I'm zeroing and check my holds, so that I know exactly what distance. If I have to guesstimate, I can try to guesstimate pretty close. And I have a margin of error that's acceptable, right? And so if I know the vitals of the deer and roughly what distance it's at, I can make a pretty clean shot with a shorter barrel. Granted, the velocity can be pretty slow at distance, so I try not to if I think it's not going to be a good shot to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've gone through a few different things. So when I met Isaiah, I was like, well, I come from like I have a collection of collector rifles. So it's like anything that was newer than, like I said on, I don't know, like 2 podcasts ago, anything newer than 1960. It's like that wasn't my thing. So Isaiah got me into ARs, and I got an 11.5. In that first year I was hunting with you guys, I ran an 11.5 with an LPVO, which worked good, but it wasn't really as fast as like my other 11.5 with a red dot, and some of those tighter spots. It's like, well, you get a lot of what's the shadow.
Yeah.
In your optic when you go to percent and you're trying to be fast, especially with the LPVO I was running.
Especially when Ben's making you push every drive.
Yeah, exactly. But I really liked the size of the 11.5 and the weight. So then the next year, I kept the 11.5, I kept the LPVO, but then I put a 45-degree offset red dot on there to be a little faster in the shorter shots. That ran okay. I did like that, but then there's also the transition back and forth between the two. That was kind of getting to me. And I also, with the size of an 11.5 being a pistol and how tight I felt like I was pulling that thing into my shoulder, last year I had ended up deciding, like you said, you spent the money and you're like, oh, buy once, cry once. My first 11.5 was a Palmetto because I didn't really have any, not interest, but I didn't have any experience really with it. Buy a cheap rifle, and I ran the crap out of that thing, and it ran really great. But then I ended up switching to a 14.5 BCM, and after looking at different ones, I was like, all right, well,
Bougie.
kind of want to up it a little bit, and being a 14.5 and being able to run the rifle buttstock on it. Well, now I've got a full length of pull on my buttstock, and it feels a lot more comfortable. Plus, it's a light profile barrel with a light handrail, so the gun itself is really light. And then changing up for this year, I changed up to a new LPVO. I got rid of the 45-degree offset, so I'm getting rid of that step. And now this LPVO is running. It's the Primary Arms with looking for that sponsorship.
Nice. Appreciate it.
It's that Primary Arms with the Nova reticle. So they advertise that thing as red dot bright, but out of my red dots, my EOTech, everything, I mean, that thing is brighter than anything that I have. Jeez. And in the daylight, when we've been on the range, it has a 1 to 11 for the brightness setting. And in full daylight, I run it at 6 because it's so bright.
And what color is that?
That one, it's like I don't know if it's gold. Yeah, okay.
Sorry. It's colorblind.
So I'm colorblind.
Bright.
Yeah.
Bright light.
So he's not tracking deer. Got it. No wonder he has to shoot him so many times.
That's why he shoots him in the head. He can't track him.
Exactly. So I stick with like the LPVO because I'm a big fan of the headshots. But having this red dot bright, leaving it on 1, I'm pretty good on 1 power out to about 200 yards. So you're fast with it, especially it being a red dot. I'm really interested to see how it works this year. I'm excited to run it. Plus, I elevated the height. So instead of running an LPVO at a 1.5, now it's at a 1.73. So I'm not dropping my head as much to get my eye into the eye box. Now, as soon as I present, it's like right there.
Yeah.
And then something that Ben and I had started doing last year was running chest rigs and keeping everything up front. So now it's, we got our extra mags. We got, in our pouches in the front, we got anything extra we need. And then
Snacks.
Snacks.
Then
Whitetail hunters.
I do run a medical fanny pack.
Let's go, dude. That can't be understated. I run at the bare minimum, I always have a tourniquet with me, even archery hunting.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude. I mean, it's just that
wanna
actually shouldn't be understated, especially when you're out rifle hunting. It's like we should essentially have what we have for workbench just with us.
It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing about a fanny pack. It's like it's on you.
Yep.
But if you have to, you can rip it off quick and just toss it.
Yeah,
Toss it to
that's
somebody
legit.
if they need it. But
That's
yeah,
legit.
it's been interesting to going through the. This will be my 4th year going through I haven't used the same rifle or the same
funny.
setup each
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I've been changing it, kind of like Isaiah said, how he's like worked up into what he really
Yeah, you're
likes.
like honing it. Yeah.
Now I'm into something because I've done the red dot, I've done the LPVO, I've done both, and now I'm back to an LPVO, but it runs like a red dot. So
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
it's going to be interesting.
So, like, I think one thing for me, the biggest reason that I enjoy running 5.56, I would say the average encounter time is under 3 seconds with whitetail when you're doing deer drives. Would you guys agree with that, or what are your thoughts?
Pretty quick.
Say average time.
For me, 2 seconds maybe. For you
Yeah,
guys, maybe
PPK.
3.
Yeah. Right. I think the biggest thing in my mind is like, and we can, obviously it's anecdotal, but we have people who run bolt guns, and you think about follow-up shots, right? And so it's like 300 Win Mag, you've got your first shot, hopefully but the thing is, it's like these things are running, right?
Yeah, there's.
If you get it on the argument in my mind is like, oh, you get it on the body, then the deer is going to be down because you're literally blowing it apart. Well, you're also losing a bunch of meat, likely. But yeah, good chance you have the deer down. But to me, I think being able to follow up shots, like having multiple rounds on the deer, is such a important thing. When I'm like, that to me, like when I can just tap, and I'm staying on target, like target acquisition, like it's still from the moment I get it, I can keep it. Even with a 4 times, so like that's the lowest my magnification goes. And I mean, I had a deer one year that fell at my feet, and I saw it at like 40 yards. But I was able to get it in the scope, and it was like 2 or 3 shots, and then the deer was down. But it was in my scope the whole time. And I think if your lever action, I mean, outside of iron sights maybe, but even time wise, right? Because you're still working the lever action, and you're still, in a sense, doing having to acquire the target again.
Recoil management. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, that is
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
absolute trash. Like when, I mean, I'm thinking like the 300 Win Mag,
Yeah.
or even a 30-06. It's like you shoot that, the thing is out of your scope, and then you gotta work the bolt on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
you
not
burn
practical.
over. I would say you burn over half your time if you're looking at the again, like anecdotal, but I would say 3 seconds or less. Rare occasion, it's more. But it is like I look at the deer we've shot with 5.56, and I if I were to go, okay, put this gun in that scenario, it's like, okay, maybe. But I feel like with the amount of like rounds that I can put where it needs to be on a running deer, where you've got to be able to maintain your target, like in your reticle, I have a hard time seeing an argument for anything that's going to have much more recoil, or where you're manipulating the gun, whether that's bolt action or lever action.
I think the like exception is like long range. So like this year, I've been focusing on deer drives that do have a little longer range, and that's why like Dave with his AR-10, where it's going to be nice to have that, because I'm personally not going to shoot a deer over 200 yards running. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of tracking, you know, wound,
A lot of variability.
And, I mean, like when you don't have a large window, but I mean, I'm confident with like Dave shooting that deer with the shooting sticks is going to go down with his shot placement.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to be like tap, tap, tap. I mean,
Yeah.
he can do it, but like it doesn't have to be that when you do have a round that's blowing a hole, you can track this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when we don't have snow, it sucks tracking a deer if you
With
don't get a
one
good shot.
5.56 round.
Yeah.
In it. Yeah. And that's and so like that's where we can acknowledge the shortcoming, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah, you get one round of 5.56 in a deer, it's going to be miserable, especially if there's not snow.
Something interesting with the platform too is, I mean, even the weight of the gun. So you start bumping up the round size, even to like a 308. Well, your AR-10 is going to be much heavier than our ARs.
Yep.
And it's been interesting, even when I am a stander, like Isaiah had mentioned, when you start to hear something coming through, or even like when you're ready, like you should always be ready because they come through so fast. You've got some tension going on with both arms.
Yep.
So if you're kind of holding the weight, granted, if you're running a sling, you can kind of like manipulate that to use the sling in your advantage and use the
Yeah.
buttstock in your shoulder, but you're still holding ready. So if you're holding a gun that's heavier than ours that long while you're waiting for the drive to be done, I mean, your arms are going to get fatigued too. So
100%.
that's you're going to be slower bringing
and
it
that's
up.
where, and I'll speak to like, so I had a full 16-inch barrel with a suppressor on the end, and it wasn't like the top of the line, like best material, lightest material type of thing. And I'll say that even for the AR platform, and with the furniture I had on it, where it was like, this is not ideal for what I'm using it for. And so I totally agree with that. And yeah, like using the sling, and like you can either extend the sling so it's kind of wrapped around your other arm, and you put additional pressure, so you're kind of distributing the weight almost. But yeah, staying at the ready can be fatiguing if you're not running the right platform for the job that you have. Yep. And I think it kind of comes back to that a little bit too. Like Isaiah was saying, he's like, I can shoot it out to this far because I've practiced and I know what my gun can do. But I also know that I'm PPK, baby, pinch point killer. And so what's
tattoo.
paramount?
Get a tattoo of it right next to your woods.
Yeah,
wood
or on your
scene.
low back, right?
Small
Well,
tramp
I
stamp.
just know that how we hunt.
Trigger finger.
I'm gonna have Derek or Ben or someone else with an LPVO or an optic. So as much as I would be like, oh, I love LPVOs, as much as I want to get one, it's hard for me to justify when it's like I know what I'm good at and I know what you guys are good at, and so you guys can flex between those positions, and I know I'm gonna be pretty close to what I'm shooting a lot of the time.
And this is what'll be really cool, and what has been cool about growing the group. We'll say, like the core group of people that are going to be doing the deer, like the rifle hunting season, aka the deer drive season. Is that the more established people become, the more you know them, the more they understand, like, here's my skill set, this is what I bring to the table. Like, I genuinely feel like, in my mind, more than anything else, for me, is not actually probably shooting, because I'll put quantity into the deer. Because that's like that's the standard in my mind, is like you shoot till it's down. It's more like I got to talk with Ben about strategy and like what we're looking for, why we're looking at the spot, why this might be good, why it might not be. But like the more that we have good people that it can be with us year over year, and they can understand the layers to it, that part of it's really exciting to me. As you actually start to add more people to it that are in it year over year.
Yeah, and it changes the options for the drive. Like in my mind, I'm having to set. These are all like new drives, and if someone's like, "Oh, look at this map. This is where you're gonna be," if you haven't walked it, it's a woods. There's trees everywhere. Go stand by this tree.
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
there's this opening, cover this. Like you can get for one sense, but what I'm doing is like having to go normally and drop off where the standards are going, unless it's a pretty basic drive, because the windows are very like important to get, because I do not want to have anything skirt through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having someone else that's like into the scouting, into the preparation of that, where they can be the last stander and then just dropping them off where they need to be. So
Yeah.
then I don't have to do that and then do a weird loop or whatever it is.
Yep.
So
Yep.
then it saves that time.
Yeah, 100%. So that's kind of the platform. That's kind of the idea. For me, the biggest thing, especially not being able to practice, I shouldn't say not prioritizing
you
as
bow
much
hunter.
practice. It comes down to being able to stay on target for multiple rounds within a short period of time. Like that for me is the biggest reason that I love running the 5.56 223 platform. And then also knowing that we've got a group of guys that it's like we can quickly execute and move to the next thing if we've got something we need to follow up on, kind of thing. And so that's legit. And then I don't know too much about this, but like, tell me what David has going on with the reload side of things.
I'm not going to get into that too much, because just like the gun stuff, I'm following these guys.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
essentially, over the years, seeing that we know the 5.56 is a smaller round, you're really not having any inertia, or what is it, like follow through. Like most of the bullets we
Don't pass through.
shoot don't pass through. We
Yep.
found them on the other side, like right
In the hide.
before they
Yeah.
break the skin. So what we've really found is, like we've talked about, headshot, neck shots, because it's just putting the deer down.
Yep.
But with the ammo, we've started off with, whatever we can find in the store. Isaiah, right now you're shooting like 68 grain. What brand?
So I've switched around a bit. So I was last year shooting 63 grain, but it was like a polymer tip. It held together really well as it went through, but it was getting stuck on the other side of the hide. But then this year I switched over to a little bit heavier because I'm in close range. So my velocity isn't as big of an issue when it comes to lead, to a heavier round, a 77 grain hollow point basically, which is this same round I use for home defense is this, so I know the round really well. I can shoot it accurately. I know the holds. I know all that. And so if a deer's within 200, I know exactly where to aim. Even if it's out past that, I know where to aim, but not as likely to take that shot. But yeah, 77 grain OTM is pretty much what I'm using. And I'm experimenting still, so I might switch it up before season, try to get some better velocity because I'm only getting 2,200 feet per second on the rounds I'm using now out of 11.5. And I was getting a little bit faster last year using a 63 grain. So speed comes into play a lot, especially you guys using longer barrels. You get a lot more speed than I do. But like I said, I'm using, I know you guys are going to be on the more open areas than I am. And so it's not as big of an issue for me.
And so the idea, what we've been trying to do is, so Dave has been working on trying to get us a faster bullet, because we found that the initial shock wave or whatever, when it first hits, because it doesn't have that follow through, we're trying to basically shut down their system. So I've been looking into like shoulder shots and why that's such a deadly shot. And there's like 5 main nerves that are coming down from the top of the head going down the different vertebrae, and it meets up at that shoulder blade. So that's something I want to experiment this year and just see. It still wastes a little bit of meat, but if they're running, that's the shot I'm going to be going for this year.
And I mean, relatively, but that's what's nice about this round is like, it literally is like
You can cut
number
around
2.
it.
It's a number 2 pencil, right? Like going in. It's not like blowing it to shreds. But yeah, trying to balance that with being able to make sure we recover the deer, find it, all that.
Yeah.
One thing too, I remember when I was initially testing out my gun, I had experimented with hotter loads, lighter loads, and it almost came down to like, it seemed like my gun had a preference to as far as like the accuracy, not necessarily the velocity, but like it was like 77 grain was like the most accurate round I had. And whether it did the most damage or had the best penetration or whatever else, like all the other factors in there, it was the one that it was like, oh, I can just nail tacks with this for sure. But again, when you start bringing it into 100 yards minus, it's like on a target where you've got bigger, a pie plate or bigger. It's like, is that the most important thing, right? So it'll be interesting to see. Like, and this is where it gets more nuanced, and I don't have as much expertise, and that'd be cool to have David on sometime to chat about that as he does the reloads and as he kind of experiments, and we see how this season shakes out. It'd be cool to kind of dig into that side of it too.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit that I do know about it is we did start off with a lead tip, and it was not getting the expansion. We were shooting 55. I tried 65. We didn't mess with the powder too much. We were just trying out the bullet, and each gun does shoot differently with the different rounds. I've had issues with the lead tip because I've had them literally break off. If they get smashed a little bit, they don't seat fully or different things like that.
Yeah.
And then to eliminate that, we went to hollow point, which worked better, but the expansion on it was just crap.
Yeah,
So I mean, we're looking at it inside the deer because we find most of them.
Yep.
And the expansion was just absolute crap. So this year, I believe we're using we want to go speed wise. So Dave's got it up to 3,100 feet per second.
Jeez, nice.
With I think 27.5 grains powder. So, and it's got the polymer tip, I think bolt tail. But so that we used I think we used Hornady last year, and it worked great for running shots, hitting them. But I mean, we're trying to get as much advantage on the deer as possible, and just trying to see what works the best. I mean, headshots, it's like it doesn't matter really what you're shooting. We haven't had an issue dropping them. I do have to say, because it's my favorite story, it was a double tap. Isaiah and Derek, we just come over this ridge, and then was it a spike? It was just literally just
like a
sitting
nubbin.
in the opening.
It was a nubbin, and we walk. we walk
were
up
desperate.
to it. We walk up to it, and like we see it standing there, standing broadside. And so Isaiah and I walk up, and I'm on the left, Isaiah's on the right, and it was like I don't know. It was like a perfect in sync machine. Just I was to the head, he was to the body, and just both of us at the same time.
I just saw a puff of hair, poof, and then just. Poof.
Just dropped.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
And then you,
then
you,
Ben and
you
I,
and I,
yeah.
we're in that one opening, and there's just like the top of this deer's head. It was a spike, and we see it. We both take aim. I don't know if you were going for the heck or neck or head. I think I went for the neck because I'm worse shot. So, and then we both shot at the same time, and the same thing, a poof, and then just drops, and we both hit it.
It was like 200
right where we
yards
aimed.
freehand.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was-
That's so dope. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Is there anything else we want to go over on the what we're running side of things?
So we talked about the guns, but I don't want to overlook the gear aspect. So you mentioned, Derek, the chest rigs. You know, we didn't obviously start off with that. I started off, despite Isaiah telling me, the war belt, which,
Yeah.
you know,
The battle belt. The battle belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had the hip holster, all that. I'm doing deer drives.
So you had a pistol in the hip holster.
Yep.
Then the battle belt carried what for you?
So that carried my extra pistol mags, my extra rifle mags, and then a medical kit on the back.
Okay.
And so I'm pushing all the time. And Zaya's like, dude, weight on your hip. What's the saying? It was like,
Well, it's like anything. A pound on your leg, or like a pound on your legs, is like, a pound on your back, or like,
It's okay.
Sound it out.
sound it out, sound it out.
the.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like basically, if you can carry it on your upper chest, it's gonna take a lot less energy than carrying it on your legs, and things on your legs are gonna get caught when going through woods. If you are doing any sort of land navigation, don't have stuff on your hips and legs if possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm walking a lot, so I lost that year. They fell out multiple times, and these are like retentions. No. No, I gained pounds during the deer
that's
season.
right,
So
'cause
I
they're
lost
whitetail
I
hunters.
lost a pistol mag. I had them fall out multiple times, and I even have the little latch over whatever that little
the
string
little
is.
tether thing on there.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also lost an AR mag, fully loaded. That's like $40. And so, but I really did like having the pistol on me because I finished a lot of deer off with that, but it's just not practical. I mean, I'm walking through there. My gun fell out a couple times, and it's retention, and it has the clip that goes over. So you got to push the button, and it still
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
the G code holster, right?
So yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just like, so this year, obviously rocking the chest rig, but
You're doing like a micro chest rig though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
So-
like a full.
No.
Oh, yeah.
no,
It's
yeah.
not like a
So-
combat loadout. No, it's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
like maximum 3 mags that you can hold.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
and then you like a little pouch where
Little
you can carry
pouches.
your phone.
And they're
like-
modular, so you can put on other pouches and stuff
Yeah.
for your phone or medical or tourniquets or land navigation stuff or whatever
Yeah.
you need for being in the woods. Lighters, just in case you get cold.
Nice. A little
Yeah.
chilly.
So I think that's been a huge upgrade and super super helpful because it's not in the way. Like when I'm pushing through stuff, it's not on the side, so it's not
Yeah, it's
getting
not
caught
caught
on
on everything,
Not
yeah.
getting caught on everything.
Yeah.
It's like high and tight. It's not an issue at all. So, I mean, what we actually have in there too. Like each of us would probably have something else. Derek's always got a gutting knife for me because
You
I
always lose it.
Exactly.
Well, Ben's the essentially. I mean, he's the de facto gutter of deer because it's the fastest. I mean,
Well, it's not just that it's the fastest. Is when you get
Blood.
blood and
Up
the
to your
fat. The fat
biceps.
is the fat's annoying, and I don't want to get these guys hands dirty because they got to be shooting. And I'm just walking, right? I'm just yelling.
when he says these guys, he's talking to all three of us. By the way, continue.
But yeah, I mean, each of us have something different in there, but all of us have. Do you guys do 3 mags, or do you guys put something else in that?
I
third
do
one?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
do
depends
3,
on if I'm
but
running
I
it or not.
only use
You're
one.
like that gets me through 1 or 2 drives before I have to reload.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also this year, I on the face of it, I have a phone case that I have for
Onyx.
yeah, mainly Onyx when I'm walking through the woods because even as I'm going, I'm like looking at the train, like, oh, I probably should shift left or whatever, just based on that. But
Yeah.
I got Boo Boo Band-Aids,
There you go.
Boo Boo kit, and then gutting gloves, which I don't use, but I'm gonna start using them because it's always taking up a little extra
Oh, it's gonna be
time,
so
and I'm just
nice.
trying to save minutes. Compass in case my phone dies, which never happens.
Don't worry, boys. Backup batteries.
Yeah, I mean, a huge thing that you told me last year is like, if you do offline maps, it doesn't use up as much battery. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, yeah. When you're in a
Oh my
one bar
goodness.
situation, it just download all of your maps and it'll save your life.
so that's gonna
Oh
be
my gosh.
huge for me this year.
It will be. Just make sure you're on it on offline maps.
Yeah, lighter, and was that some tape in case I need to mark where a deer shot on a deer drive if that ever happens for me.
If that ever, yeah, you're too,
Never
getting that,
occurs.
got to get in the out in the open, get back after
Isaiah
the.
did mention a good one: snacks. I
Snacks.
do keep plenty of snacks on me. I do
Smart.
like to eat.
Gotta
Yeah.
keep fueled. Make sure
See,
you
I
got
always
water.
keep those. I always keep those in the truck because it's always the in between where it's like you get a drink and snack and then you hop out and it's business.
Yeah,
but I'm not doing
but
pushes, so
the most important thing in my
I want to
chest
stay
rig-
ready at those times for standing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll have to tap into you guys for dialing in the chest rig for this next year because I started looking and I was like, a lot of options, and then you get into the buy once, cry once mentality, and you don't actually know what you're looking for yet. So it'll be nice to hear from you guys on that. I think one thing too, this just kind of occurred to me. There's been some times and some years for various reasons at various times where it felt like we forgot that hunting was supposed to be fun. I'm not really even sure where I'm going with this, but I just remember like there were times where I was like, it was almost like the pressure of like trying to get everything in a day and there wasn't enough time in a day. Like you almost like forgot to have fun with it. And that's something that I don't want to lose sight of, I guess, maybe in all of this because you are putting so much energy and time into it. And it is a thing where it's like, it's the success that, is like the high of everything. But I don't know. How do you keep that? I guess how do you guys keep that in play with everything? Because there's times where I can look back and objectively, like people were pissed, people were upset, people were annoyed, people were frustrated. Not to say that we can't experience all those things during that season and trying to set stuff up and unmet expectations, but how do we keep that alive in the midst of all this stuff? Because we're taking it pretty serious. Ben's like, it's not fun.
Whoever said you're supposed to have fun?
Yeah, this is like providing meat for our, no. Well, keeping it all in perspective, like I know it's not fun sitting in a stand. So as long as I'm walking through the woods, I'm having fun. If none of these guys are like, oh, we should have done the deer drive with this, like I would like more like communication after,
Like
but,
feedback?
Feedback.
After action reports, boys. They're
Yeah.
due by the end of the day.
But and they're good about it, but like after action
Review.
after the season and just make small tweaks like maybe the next deer drive or whatever, but I mean all of us get along pretty well. I think the problem is too many chiefs.
Not enough Indians.
Yes. Yep.
And that, but
Yep.
not with these guys. So
No, we're all
we
alpha
have
males.
we have a solid group, and as long as everyone knows, like
That you're the leader.
Yeah,
no,
right?
We submit, Alpha.
If we
Everyone
don't
knows
say
it's
that,
a
we get
charge.
hit.
Of course.
No, but I mean, like, I just feel like Derek said, we got a well-oiled machine, and I guess my biggest fear is overcomplicating what we're doing and trying to change too much up in a single year. Like, I had elaborate plans for this year, and now I'm just like, that doesn't even sound interesting. It sounds like a lot of work, not a lot of fun. Like, I have dreams of like going down somewhere and just doing island drives.
Yeah, like
realistically,
boating in type of thing.
yeah,
I
and
called
put
it-
a lot of time into like talking to the DNR and like talking to the actual people,
Yeah.
like that run like the area where it's public, but it's like actually run by a group. Like there's someone you can contact, and like something I really want to do. Still gonna go up and do a flyover with Mikey.
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious on what it looks like with the leaves off and
Yeah.
like if it's what I think it is.
Dude, if we could get a little snowfall, that would be so nice.
dude, that would be
Because we
dope.
can fly. I think the floor is 500 feet. I could be wrong on that, but you can see.
Dude, yeah.
You can see. It's legit.
There's a lot of things I want to do, like four-wheeler drives where you can't hunt this area unless you take a four-wheeler back into
Yeah, like miles and miles.
exactly.
Yep,
And so where people are off the beaten path, but I mean, I'm trying not to burn myself out like scouting because I hate driving like a car.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to, there's just so many spots I want to look at. It sucks.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but like all of us get along so well where it's like, we don't let anything, mess it up, it seems like, but
Yeah. It seems
they
like.
feel different. How do you feel, Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
Isaiah, how
mean,
do we keep it fun?
One quick comment about the boating thing. That's called an amphibious assault. We're gonna do on those here on those islands. But besides that, yeah, no, I mean we've had some years where there's definitely been some frustration. Ben and I have gone at it. Luke and I have gone at it, and I think the frustrating thing is when we have the core group of guys, and like we said, we want to add new people, but it's kind of that factor of like, please come shoot with us prior.
Yes.
Please come do these things so we know how to utilize you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Well,
if we're putting you in a spot where you don't know what's going on, but you're not voicing that as well, it does get frustrating because
Yeah.
we're putting in so much time
Yeah.
and so much effort. So that's like I said, like having this podcast, discussing this kind of stuff prior to hunting season, I think is really, really good and healthy for that. But also like that getting into the, like Ben and I a couple of years ago, we got into it a little bit and it's almost like the camaraderie built through some suffering too.
Yeah,
Where it's like you get
yeah.
closer and you kind of learn each other better because you've had those issues.
Yeah, you've gone through the fire.
You've gone through the fire, and now you built a new bridge and now you kind of understand better, each other better to the sense of, okay, we know Ben's doing his best in this. It wasn't because he was thinking this of me. It was because
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
situation that unfolded.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
That
I mean,
makes sense. Derek, do you have any thoughts on all that? How to get?
I'm pretty mellow.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm pretty
Kinda
mellow.
go with the
and I don't-
flow.
Yeah, I'm like, I was also invited into this too, so it's like, I'm one of the only ones who isn't family.
Mm-hmm.
So my hunting rifle experience has been like, oh, I'll be lucky to see a deer a year,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like, all right, well, we got no issue seeing deer.
100%,
like-
dude.
It's like, all right, well, I can stand back and witness like some of the brother button heads and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm just enjoying it because I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I'm pretty mellow. I don't talk much, so
Yeah, and I think for me, like going out, again, having such a long archery season, my emphasis is like I want to hang out with family and friends and like create some fun memories. And so I think for me, like when things get frustrating or yeah, there's tension. It kind of steals or robs from that opportunity for that. And so that's where I'm like, oh, this sucks that this is happening. I definitely like this, but it's like I know this is your 9 days, right? Like this is your 9 days. This is what your hunting season is. And so not trying to downplay it, but also trying to like bring levity to the situation or be like lighthearted about it is really what I'm trying to bring when we get in those scenarios, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think also like a big part of it too is like this podcast, which we're definitely not going to release until after the hunting season. Just kidding. But I think part of it is like managing expectations, and the biggest thing is like, at least in my mind, is not whether we're on the same page, but like anyone that's newer to it, not including you, Derek, but like newer to it, where like Mikey's coming into it and stuff like that, being able to share these next few podcasts with people to be like, here's the intention, here's the thoughts behind it. Like this
Yeah.
isn't just willy-nilly, we go out there and we're pushing just because this is the spot we just saw on X. There's a lot of thought and intention behind it. And I think there's a lot of reward that can come with it. And I think a lot of suffering, like Isaiah was saying, like the suffering also makes the victories that much sweeter. And so to have like so many years where all we got was does, and again, like I have an emphasis on bucks. It's fine because I know that we can get does. That's really where it comes from. Is like I know we can go stack does, but like to see us actually do something that, in my mind, is more challenging and more sacrifice, and do something like that and be able to celebrate that as a group, as a family, like that's a huge deal to me. Like I was like, this is what this should be.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is rare. Like you have, I mean, we can look at our own family and look back and be like, not in our entire time have we ever done anything like this. It might be a one-off, but there's a chance that our theory is actually going to work out to be something pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm super excited for this next year. Like every year, I don't know how much I'll get out. I'm going to do it as much as I can. And yeah, it's hopefully continue to build on what you guys, I would say you guys have been more heavy into it than myself, build on what you guys have started.
Yeah, I can't emphasize it enough. Just like the community that you guys are trying to create with this podcast of like being happy for them. And like you've already said, if you wouldn't have shot that buck, you would have been just as happy as if someone
100%.
else shot it.
100%.
And honestly, like it's the group hunt that really draws me into it. Like I honestly was thinking about it, knowing that this podcast was coming up. Like I don't think I would hunt by myself. Like I think legitly I would not hunt if I didn't have a group of people.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sit and stand. So like, what else is there?
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. Like I almost feel, and there's a little bit of a realization maybe, but I almost feel guilty getting the biggest buck because I know I didn't make the most sacrifice in my mind. Right? Like someone said, hey, go sit here, be ready. Like I can do my part in that. Obviously, we can't control what deer goes where, but it's almost like, oh, I know I didn't make the most sacrifice. Like I would almost be more happy if, that buck doubled back and Ben got it, right? Like on a weird off chance type of thing. And so I think that when you get a group of guys that are together, a group of whoever together like that, I only say that because my daughter's definitely coming out hunting at some point.
Yeah.
She's 2, but yeah. So like when you get a group of guys that are on the same team in that sense and that mentality, dude, whether it's a doe, small buck, big buck, like you hear those rounds pop off and you're like, dude, we're in it. We're friggin' in it. Like we're doing it. So yeah, there's not much better than that when it comes to hunting, rifle season especially.
Yeah, I don't like that some people just hold their spots so close, like, oh, I'm not going to let anyone know I'm hunting this area. Or
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I remember you talking about someone on your podcast that was hunting this buck. And
We love you, Ben. We love you, Ben.
Oh, that was his name, Ben?
Ben Dvorak.
Great
yeah.
name, though. Great name.
Strong name.
But it's like, where's the joy in that? You can't tell them about the scouting that you've done. You can't tell them, dude, I got this buck on camera.
The battle.
It's like,
Yeah,
all that. It's like,
yeah.
and then you just find out you shot this buck. It's like, oh, that's cool. You shot it by yourself. Awesome buck. Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm like, where's the joy and where's the community? I mean, I went out this morning scouting with Dave H. And dude, he stinking shows me a picture of this trail camera, a bigger buck than that, wider, not as much mass.
Doubt it.
And he's like, and he showed me on the map where he saw it, and he
Yeah.
said, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. It's like, you hunting? He's like, oh, not really. I got a couple other bucks I'm chasing. He's like, do you want to know the area in this? I'm like, are you sure you don't want? And he's like, nah. And then on top of it, I was telling him, man, eventually I want to get trail cameras out. And he's like, oh, I got 4 trail cameras that you can put out. I'm like, are you serious? So I was able to put out some
Yeah.
trail cameras.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, I would be super happy if you guys shot that buck. It's
Yeah.
like he put in the legwork. He found where this buck generally is.
Yeah.
And yet he's willing to share that information.
Yeah.
Because he said, he'd be excited for us.
Yeah, that's
So-
huge. That's huge, and that like you said, that's the heart of the podcast in general. Is like the sense of community and being able to share, right? Like all of it, and not having guys that are. Well, I mean, it's a fine line, right? Because earlier Isaiah was like the place that starts with S, which I think there's a reality to that because like you're putting it out to the masses when we're talking here. But when you've got a core group of guys and you're like, dude, like Dusty and I have we have spots where we're both hunting and it's like we've seen great bucks on there and I could not care less if it's me or him kind of thing, right? And being able to share and create those memories, like I would be ecstatic if I was able to go out there and like track down a deer with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is, if people want to shoot some nice bucks, they have to get our friend group.
Yeah, get in the circle, dude.
Honestly, I like
Get
what
in the
I'm really
circle.
hoping with the podcast is that
People subscribe. I totally agree.
Exactly.
Totally
No.
agree.
Sponsors.
Buy merch.
sponsors, subscribe, like,
Yeah.
share. No, but I'm hoping that we get feedback because like I'm doing the best I can with the knowledge that I have, but there's not a lot of good information about how to do deer drives, like what tactics to use.
Yeah.
And like I would love it. People are like, hey, this is what our party has done. You know, you should really try this out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that
well,
would
and
be
I think
awesome.
even if you have people that were like giving anecdotal evidence, like, hey, we tried this and this happened, right?
Yeah.
To where you're able to like catalog it and like keep it in the back of your mind and like you see it and you're like, okay, maybe there's something to this, right? And so I think it'd be really cool to have people engage in that because like we were saying in maybe a podcast or two ago, I don't remember at this point, it's getting late. But where it was the idea of, now I totally lost my train of thought. We're tracking. Podcast to go. I lost it.
There's
Anyways,
something about deer drives.
thank you. All right, now I
Super
totally got it.
helpful.
Yeah. Anyway, shoot, I lost my train of thought. It is what it is. Definitely not cutting that out. We just leave it in there.
Just leave it right
It's
there.
Because
raw.
it's way too
It's
hard
raw.
to cut out.
Nothing
It's
was
raw
cut.
and it's
No
real.
one-
No, it's 106 on the timer, almost 107. Not AM. Just how long we've been recording. Yeah, but anyway, I guess coming back to the sense of community, the deer drive side of it, which I was really hoping Dusty could be with us tonight. But so he could pick your brain as well. But with the deer drive side of it being kind of underrepresented for how much we see it every single
Every
year.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so hopefully people can latch onto it a little bit. Hopefully they can gain something from this. And I'm hoping people can also contribute to it, like you were
Absolutely,
saying.
yeah.
Right? Because it's like none of us have arrived on any of this stuff. And same with archery hunting. Like with both Dusty and I, it's like we haven't figured anything out. Like nothing's figured out. None of us have arrived on that either. And that's part of what makes it fun is being able to do the back and forth with people and continue to learn and grow. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally trying to take bow tactics and be like, how can I twist this to deer drives?
yeah, exactly, 100%. And I think that's to me what was so fun about last year was like, ooh, you're telling me that I gotta like look at an area and be like, this is what I think a buck would like. Well, now let's go push every living thing out of that area and find out if we're right or wrong. And then to see some fruit from that was cool. And hopefully this next year, see if that's
Found out some
a
things that
fluke
don't
or
work.
not.
Like little island drive kind of things that you talked about.
Yeah, well, you
Well,
know.
not island, but like swamps.
Yeah,
like,
but what if they're there, you know?
well, it's still in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, maybe it was just,
Yeah,
it
it's like,
wasn't
look
the
for them
right
s-
time.
Yeah, exactly. The swamp donkeys.
Yeah.
They might have still been chasing.
They'll bed down in that 30 by 30 foot area.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, appreciate you listening. I hope that everyone, by this time, I think we're on our at least third episode. By this time, you guys should be very close to the kickoff of the rifle season for Wisconsin. Hope you guys have a lot of fun. Whether you're sitting in a stand, whether you're doing deer drives, wish you guys luck. And I hope that we get to see and hear some follow-up from people and what you gained, or maybe some input for us on some tactics would be appreciated. So hopefully for the last time without Dusty here, peace out.
Peace out.